Well, I am here to serve you guys, the subscribers, and thanks to everyone who's giving the other non-Aaron, non-DOA videos a chance. All I can say is I urge people to give the other content a chance, but I do realize people have their preferences. So someone is asking, how in the world does DOA afford apparently this plush hotel he's in? Well, there's two reasons. One, he said this before, he's got a few people who are like his financial angels. So there's a few people who are willing to give him some, not like massive amounts of money, but fairly okay money. There you go. So you got to tell his donors like why his donors are so generous or want him in the hotel. I don't know. But also too, you have to realize the hotel industry is kind of weird that they do give out good prices, right? I found these weird cases where like I can see a hotel in the local area and it's sometimes going for like $80, $90, but then if I search long enough through price.com or other things, I can get like a room for like $60. So it's kind of a weird industry that they will always prefer to sell some room even at a lower price because some money is better than no money. So maybe just DOA got a very good deal and there we go. Not a big mystery. Now let's jump into the legalities. We've finished the economics of DOA. Let's get into the legal philosophy. And it's very weird because, again, he's obviously very partisan, but DOA did a couple of lives going through what he thought or perceived were his chances. And he admits it's a little mixed. So where are we now? So before he was being charged with a series of felonies as well as an assault case. Now the assault is not technically related to Scientology or any protesting. It was him getting into a fight. He may still have to serve a lot of time for that, but that is a separate subject. So, what happened recently is the felonies were dropped because Scientology tried to label them as hate crimes. However, his lawyers were able to show that no, 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 no. Yes, he did destroy property, but it was not the property of the church, right? The church itself said it was their property, but they were basically misleading people. So there we go. And the judge apparently was satisfied with that explanation. So a lot of the felonies have gone away. But at the last minute, the DA brought in new felony charges. And again, my point here is not to get polemical with Mexican long hair. I'm very mixed on how he does his coverage. And now, let's be honest, I am not directly in California. I can't really verify a lot of these reports. There's just a lot of confusion. So, in one of the lives, Mexican long hair kind of promised his audience, oh, no, don't worry. The new felony charges carry with them minimal sentences. He will be going to jail if found guilty. I don't know what he means because DOA is arguing that these charges are not felonies, they're misdemeanors, right? So, yeah, you can celebrate that he's getting these new charges and may go to jail. And it's a strong possibility he will go to jail, but he's not going to jail for thousands of years. So I don't know why the anti DOA side is spreading these rumors that he's going to be charged with all these weird new federal crimes. And again, he is partisan, but I think DOA convincingly explained it, saying, listen, it's just a money thing. He didn't destroy property at the level that it turns into a felony. Apparently, the law takes that into consideration. Like, how much damage are you doing to the property of the afflicted group, right? I mean, there is just a world of difference between whatever. Let's say you're just anti homosexual, you're homophobe and extremist. There's a difference between seeing two gay men stealing their magazine, right? Just taking a magazine from out their hands and burning it. Okay, that is destroying property. You're motivated by bigotry and all that. You can be charged with a hate crime versus, an act of arson and destroying their house, right? The law differentiates. Certain hate crimes are less heinous than others. So I guess Scientology is trying to say, although it doesn't look as bad, it's still bad. These are hate crimes, and presumably they're going to hope the judge will treat these as felonies, even though technically, as DOA is saying, and his lawyer is apparently arguing, no, they're just misdemeanors, right? You're just changing the label, but we're right back where we started. And those charges were dismissed before. So apparently they're just going to wiggle like a different section of the penal code, because apparently this is a penal code violation in California. And it has several different paragraphs. So I guess they're going to just trade one alphabet letter for the other one, saying, oh, no, we're not charging with A, we're charging with F. He should still go to jail. To me, this just reads like very, very desperate. But again, I don't know for sure. And I will say the lives he presented were a little weird. He was very respectful of the judge, right? Saying, don't talk bad about the judge. No one in the chat should say it's a bad court, it's a bad judge, or he's being railroaded. Just say, no, it's fair. I think it's been fair and good so far. He obviously wants all the charges dismissed, but he says, don't disrespect the judge. So it's a little strange. And true to his word, there doesn't seem to be any trashing of the legal system. So there we are. But he keeps making the lives private. It's a little curious. I guess he just doesn't want to give fodder to Mexican Longhair and other people. I don't know. I don't know. It just seems a little weird. Like the lives where he's stating factually, he respects the court. He's making that private. Wouldn't you want to make that public? Wouldn't you want to, right, show your enthusiasm for the court system to the court? I don't know. That just seems weird to me. If they are going to be misdemeanors, how bad is it? Well, again, it still can be devastating, right? So, in other words, you can go up to jail for about a year and pay a fine if found guilty. However, up to a year can mean many things. It can mean full blown year in prison. That's it. Maximum sentence. Or it could just mean, right, community service, a mixture of community service and a fine. Maybe you have to check in with your parole officer, right? The ankle bracelet, so on and so forth. But he's not going to jail at all. Or, which I think is going to be the obvious choice, they're going to do something in the middle. They're going to give him a few months in jail, but the rest will probably be probation, community service, and so on and so forth. And again, let's be realistic. The kind of prison he would be in, it would not be like Danny Masterson. Again, this is not the Supermax. He's not Osama bin Laden. He's not Ted Kaczynski. He's not Charles Manson. Calm down. But still, a jail is a jail is a jail. So I don't think it'd be entirely comfortable, but he's not going off to Alcatraz. Like, some of these DOA haters, and listen, make your money hating DOA, but they're getting lost in these weird orgasms and fantasies that he's going to be locked up like Hannibal Lecter and whatever, become dinner for Bubba and whatever. It's like, join the Aryan Brotherhood and become like, calm down, calm down. But it could very well be the judge will just give him a warning, some fines, he'll stay on probation, that is it. Or he will face some severe punishment. But again, there is a limit. If it is a misdemeanor, it can't go beyond a year, right? So there's a lot of importance here if the judge and lawyers on both sides agree going forward, okay, fine, these are the charges. Again, hate crimes, not hate crimes vandalism, different kind of hate crime. But again, if he is convicted, this will be the sentence. Right. And again, maybe he does deserve a whole year in jail, but I don't know why Mexican Longhair and the others are promising he's going to be spending 30 to 50 years. It could be like Scientology is going to find some really secret tape or something recently that can push the judge back to saying, oh, yeah, these are felonies. You're going to be charged as a felon. But thus far, it does seem what they're aiming at and what DOA is going to get is new misdemeanor charges. They're not nothing, but he's not going to be sent to 50 years to jail if he loses. That's just not how misdemeanors operate. They are severe, right? This could be devastating, but he's not going to be locked up in Siberia for 100 years. I don't know why people say these things or say it's guaranteed. They're guaranteed. And I'm listening to Mexican Longhair. Oh, okay, can you cite statutes? Can you cite? No, I can't. Then how do you know he's going away for 50 years? Good or bad, especially in Los Angeles, they're not going to look for reasons to put you in prison. I mean, the prisons are overcrowded. They're spending way too much money on them. So the emphasis is going to be on rehabilitation. It could still be a lot of severe punishments, but, again, if jails and prisons are overflowing with violent felons, why would they put someone who's technically nonviolent? Not defending DOA. I'm just saying, realistically, looking at the law as law, right? He's a very loud, obnoxious protester, right? I could even agree to call him a terrorist because he does threaten people a lot. However, is he really like a Charles Manson, fear for your babies type? No, he's not at that level. So the hysteria is it's a little much, but it's not a nothing. These misdemeanors can still be pretty severe. So there is a limit to how much he's going to be punished, but the judge can take it to the maximum, right? So there you go. So I don't know why he took away the lives and is just chilling by the pool. I don't know. Maybe he's just scared that his quote compliments or being nice will be taken the wrong way, so he's being extra cautious, and the live is gone. So hopefully he'll put it back because he actually had some interesting thoughts on what he's being charged with. It's very, very fascinating. So concluding this commentary, is a true audit LA and Aaron are going to go to jail now? I'm going to ponder that. I don't know. I don't know. I will dig deeper. But yes, it is possible. I don't think it's a big possibility, however, but it is possible. Whatever precedent is set in this case could be used against Audit LA, Aaron, and other protesters and saying, well, you're going to go to jail for hate crimes. And they're like, what? Well, you yelled it's a family destroying cult. That's a hate crime now. We have precedent with DOA. So, like, okay. And there you go. There you go. See, this is a problem. When you start practicing censorship, it's difficult to stop, right? Because once you open the door, the floodgates are open. So it would be peak irony if Aaron, of all people, ends up in jail due to DOA and even is his bunkmate. Like, he literally will see DOA in prison where both of them will spend time, well, relaxing, whether they like it or not. So I wish that would happen, but I don't know. But again, this is a very powerful cult. So it could be they designed all of this to get precedent to go after Aaron. That is not insane. That is a very weird strategy, but Scientology itself is kind of weird. So we'll see. So far, Aaron is not behaving himself. But after this verdict, after this case, it could well be the judge will embed it into law. If you start yelling, this is a cult, family destroying cult, yada yada, traffics, whatever, you might go to jail for that. That is a real possibility, which I find shocking. I can't believe that, but crazier things have happened in court systems. So I don't know. I don't know. I usually don't do that kind of banter, even against Scientology. I think it's very childish to just say, "Oh my God, it's a cult." Okay, so what? Britney and Taylor Swift have cults. That's not sufficient. There has to be an extra step. But for some people, just say, "There's a cult. Honk your horn," and that's the end of the discussion. Whereas, no, it's the beginning of the discussion. But no real sympathy for Scientology here. However, yeah, as a group, good or bad, as a religious group, they might have a case here. So it will be interesting how Aaronis slips out of this one because, good or bad, the Scientologists do know how to manipulate the legal system, as does Aaron. So a clash is inevitable. And I don't know if Aaron's going to end up on top as the winner.